Samson, welcome to the cave.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Man, exciting time for you, huh?
Very. Yeah, I'm very excited, very blessed, very fortunate. Just happy to be here.
Yeah. So if the listeners and viewers don't know, they're gonna see you soon as Big Pussy Sal from the young version on the Many Saints of Newark. And I can't wait till we dive into that, man. But I was doing some research on you, and this is one of your first big projects.
This is my first project ever.
Overall? Wow.
This is well, I did a short film in college with one of my buddies, which is how I got into acting. And that was like around my sophomore year. And long story short, it was in a festival and I won Best Actor.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go be an actor. So I finished school, Arizona State, Go Devils, and then I moved to LA and got signed within a month with my manager, Ryan Glasgow, and then booked this within a year. This is how I got my SAG card. So yeah,
Wow.
first project.
So when you went to college, what did you go to college for?
I was in college. I majored in communications.
What was the plan at first?
I grew up playing football and
Okay.
I wanted, that's, as a Polynesian growing up, that's kind of what the goal is, to make it to NFL, go play D1 football, go to the NFL.
Yeah.
But when that didn't pan out, I got a pretty bad concussion, and I don't remember, about like 2.5 weeks. And it was kind of at that moment that I was like, all right, I got to hang him up. So I hung him up, and then I got into acting through my boy, Luke Williams. But at the time, while I was in college, I was also working like with ESPN, like kind of as like a production assistant. I had a connect. Her name was Luisa Matele. She's like family to me. She was working with them. So I remember working like the NBA Finals, Miami Heat, San Antonio, the Golden State Cavalier one, and then like even the Super Bowl, like when it was played in Arizona, when he threw the pick, when Russell Wilson threw the pick instead of handing it off, I was on the sideline behind the Seahawks bench.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I was like totally into it. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm gonna go work for ESPN. I'll go live in Connecticut. Like I remember like that was the whole thing, and then just I got the acting bug, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna move to LA.
I can't believe you were at that Super Bowl though. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm from Massachusetts.
Okay.
So that was a huge night for us here.
Oh man, that was and like being, not even just being there, not even witnessing, but like it was also kind of funny because I was behind the Seahawks bench.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm a Brady fan. I love Brady. He's the GOAT. And I was just like, oh, what's going on right now? But yeah, I mean, sports have been my life, ever since I was a kid. So that's kind of really what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay in that realm. But, I got the acting bug, and, here I am.
That's right. So the other day I interviewed William Ludwig. He plays the young version of Tony Soprano.
That's a little bro. Yeah,
great little guy, and he was telling me about the premiere. Let me hear about what were your thoughts on the premiere when you went and saw it?
Man, it was I use this all the time, and it sounds like a broken record, but it was surreal. This whole entire experience has just been completely surreal. I mean, being on, the carpet was great. You're taking pictures, you're doing interviews, it's all good. But there was a moment where I kind of, took a step back, and I was just looking, and I was like kind of soaking it in. And I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, it also was kind of relieving almost, just because we did this so long ago. We've been waiting for quite a while. Obviously with COVID, everything kind of got hit pause, but it was definitely kind of like a relief. And I think that's what kind of lifted everybody's spirits. It was like, all right, here we are, it's time. And then, we all enjoyed the movie, with that crowd that was there was amazing. They laughed at the funny parts. They were, quiet and silent during the serious parts. And it was just kind of cool to watch it with not only the fans, but just like with the cast as well. So, I mean, it was just a great experience.
What was your thoughts after you finished when you finally watched the finished project? It was all put together.
It was one of those things where we did a screening of it probably, I want to say a couple months ago, just right before press started, just so we kind of knew what we were getting into. And it was just, I mean, it's one of those things where for myself, I was like, man, not only am I in a movie, not only am I able to see myself on the big screen, it's like I'm a part of this bigger picture that is the Sopranos. And just watching everyone's performance and watching everything unfold, seeing the words that David wrote, seeing the shots that Alan put together, and just kind of seeing it, the finished product was absolutely unreal. I mean, I was there with my manager and we were just like, man, this is crazy. Like this is real life, like this is actually happening. So even so at that point, and then to watch it again with this crowd, it was just, without giving too many spoilers away, there was like moments where, the kind of Soprano fans, knew what was coming up. And so they would laugh and you would kind of miss the line a little bit, but it was just like, it was a great experience, just to have everybody there was just awesome.
So when you went for the audition, is that who you were going for right away, or was it somebody else?
That's been one of my favorite stories. That's been one of my favorite stories. When I got the audition, it was for Butter. That was the role, Butter. David Chase and the whole entire team was very secretive about this project. It was titled, what was it? I think it was Untitled New Jersey Project.
Yeah.
And then, when it comes with the breakdown, you can see, who's directing, producing, executive producing, writers, that whole thing. And I remember looking at it and I was like, David Chase. I was like, oh, this is the Sopranos prequel. Because I remember the news had just been, I want to say they had just announced Michael, I want to say maybe like a week beforehand. So it was already hitting the news, Alessandro had been cast. They just got Michael, and it sounded like, I was like, all right, cool. This is going to be big. But I got the audition I got the sides on Tuesday and I went in on Wednesday. And I just remember we heard back probably, I want to say it was that next Friday. We heard back and they were like, hey, you got the role. You're our guy. Also, you're playing a young version of Big Pussy. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is really happening. And it was just, it was the funniest part about all of it was I remember when I had got the audition, I went and watched the show. I had never seen it prior. And I was about a season in. And I remember calling my manager and I was like, hey, so there's this character, there's this guy named Big Puss. I look like this actor. Like I look like I could be related to him. He looks like my uncle. You know what I mean? Like, call them and tell them that I want to read for this. And my manager's the best. He goes, yeah, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Like, it does not work like that. Like, settle down, So I remember, once we found out, once they broke the news to us, and they had like sent a picture of like my headshot next to one of his, and I was, it was amazing. And I just remember being like, all right, like this is some big shoes to fill,
Wow, that's awesome. So like, when you got like the description of the character at first when you auditioned for it, like, what did it say? Do you remember?
I remember it saying it was he was a loyal. It was I want to say just one of the guys, loyal, reserved, but if it's time to get rowdy, like he's down. And it was just one of those simple things. So in my head, I was like, all right, I'm just playing another gangster. You know what I mean? Like I'm just one of the boys. Yeah. And in the sides that we got, it was, I think I was talking, it was almost when I got the sides, it was almost a recreation of a scene between Big Puss and Chrissy Moltisanti. I think it was like right after he killed one of the guys. I'm trying to remember exactly what the sides were, but it was very, it was very Sopranos. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah.
I got the size and I was like, this, I'm playing a gangster. You know what I mean? I'm playing mafioso, like
Yeah.
to the T. I mean, I knew it was, a period piece. So I knew we were going to be like suited and booted. And I was just like, it just, everything about it. There was not one moment throughout this whole process before, even during, where I was like, it just kept going like this.
That's awesome. So did you finish the whole series before you started filming?
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember, I think I was probably when we came in for the table read. It was my first time in New York, and I'm such a weirdo kid. I like sentimental stuff, and I remember I saved the season finale for right when I got here the night before the table read. I remember
Awesome.
I saved it, and I was just like, soak it all in, let this moment happen, and then
Yeah.
so I watched it the night before, and then I woke up and walked straight to the table read, and I just kind of let it all continue to happen, and it was a great experience.
Yeah. When you booked the role, did you get a chance to talk to the original Big Pussy Vincent that played
Yes.
and get an idea how you're going to play the younger version of him?
Yeah. So when we came for the table read, I want to say it was probably about like 3 weeks before we started shooting, and I got put in contact with him.
Yeah.
I want to say David made that connect, and so we had each other's numbers, and I remember he texted me. I think it was like probably like the third or fourth text back. He was like, "Send me a picture." And I wanted to meet you in person before I had this judgment. But no, so we linked up. He at the time he was teaching an acting class. Actually, they still are to this day. Him and Maureen Van Sant, Stevie's wife. They were teaching an acting class. So he was like, "Come to the class, sit in for a little bit, and then afterwards we'll go grab dinner." And I was like, "All right, cool, let's make it happen." So I remember we went to the class. I was a little early to meet him and just kind of sit down and talk. We had a great talk, and he kind of started quizzing me a little bit. He's like, "So do you know why we're called that? Do you know what this was? Do you know why I did this?" And I was just like, "I was hoping you would just tell me this, bro." But I remember doing my research beforehand, so I kind of had an idea of what he did and what he wanted with the character, and I kind of wanted to take as much as I could from that. Even though I hadn't experienced prior 30 years until his version of it. But yeah, no, he's my guy. I mean, we talk almost probably like once a week. We
Right.
still hit each other up. Yeah, he still checks in on me. Sees how I'm doing, and him and I have a pretty close bond.
Yeah. How did you work on the accent, the Italian accent? Did you find it easy?
Uh, at first, it's also one of my favorite stories. When I first got this, I remember I was running lines with one of my buddies at the time, and we went through it the first time. It was probably like 3-4 pages, and he looked at me and he was like, "Yeah, no, you sound like Biggie Smalls. This isn't gonna work." I was like, "Oh." So I remember that's when we watched the pilot. I watched the pilot before I did my audition, and I got it down. And I kind of figured. And again, I didn't know I was playing Big Puss, so I just kind of just had a typical, Jersey, New York type of accent in the audition. But I kind of wanted it to be as close to him as possible. I think maybe subconsciously, I'm not entirely sure, but after I found out who I was playing, after I found out I was playing a young version of Vinny, I again just watched his scenes, and then I watched a lot of his interviews and stuff, because at first, to somebody who doesn't really study it or wouldn't really kind of think about it, it seems like he has like a lisp, you know what I mean? But it's more of an underbite, you know what I mean? And kind of
Right.
like one of those things.
Yeah.
So I remember just kind of trying to practice it, and then at the same time we had a dialect coach, Coley. She was phenomenal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I remember she helped me a lot as much, and also at the same time I had Vin record my lines for me, so I had something to recall on the days we were shooting,
Wow. How long do you think it took you to finally nail it?
Honestly, I feel like I picked up on it pretty easily. I don't know. I think when I look back at my life, I'm like, okay, it makes sense that I'm an actor. You know what I mean? But, growing up, I was,
Yeah.
you could have told me this, right before I did, you could have told me after I shot that short film in college, like, oh, you're going to be in LA and being an actor. And I would have told you you're on some crazy drugs. But like I look back and, I've kind of always been one of those guys who's try to just be a character, I just act a fool and just do this and do that. So I feel like it was just kind of second nature almost to just pick up on something new like that.
That's awesome. So throughout the movie, you got to work with different cast members, and I know one of them was Michael. Like, how was it working with him, and how was it working with like the rest of the cast in your scenes?
I mean, first and foremost, Michael, he's my brother. You know what I mean? That's my guy. As you can tell, I'm here. That's where I'm sleeping right now. That's like that's my boy. And everyone on it. Every person, every cast member in this entire project is a phenomenal actor. First and foremost, just great actor. But at the core of it, they were really great people. And I think that's what kind of made this so enjoyable. And I think that's what kind of made this such a memorable, for me, first thing. I was like, all right, the bar is set pretty high, moving forward in terms of what I would like to be a part of, and, what I like around set and stuff like that. Everyone was just amazing. I mean, Michael was, from the beginning, he was kind of like our rock, you know what I mean? He kind of held us together. It was just a great experience that we were all going to embark on with each other. And then, most of my scenes are with Billy Magnuson and John Magaro, and those two are vets, and I could tell I was getting annoying sometimes, some days, just asking so many questions. I didn't know what was going on.
Well, it's your first big thing, too. Your first project.
Yeah, it's like, and like, not like that was my first time on a set. I had no idea. Everyone's like, "Yeah, we got the martini coming up," and I'm like, "What's that mean, dog?" And he's like, "It's the last shot." And I'm like, "I don't know any of this." And you got your mark, and I was like, "What's happening?" You know what I mean? So I remember just kind of like just soaking it all in. But Billy and John were just phenomenal. They were professionals, and they could have probably brushed it off a little bit, like, oh god, it was this kid, you know what I mean? Why would they bring this guy onto this? That we have so many expectations, and they brought this guy who doesn't know anything, But no, they were just great. Everything about them, they helped me out through and through. And then obviously Alessandro just gives a phenomenal performance, and he had a lot on his plate, but everybody was just so cool. Everybody helped me out and helped each other out. And it was just one of those things where it's like, as an actor, I can only hope that other actors get to experience something like what we did,
What do you think was like the biggest advice you got from being the new guy on set?
There was so much. If I had to say probably the biggest piece of advice, it was, I'd probably say it was just, man, there was so much, but I would probably say the biggest was enjoy it. I think, that was probably the biggest one, was like, enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be times where it's like, I remember, I want to say it was probably like my fourth day filming, and we're, waiting in our trailers, and, we had been there since 6 a.m. and, 1 p.m. rolls around and we're still not on set. And, we're just kind of, and I remember I was just kind of so excited to be there that I was like, oh, I want to get there. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they were like, first of all, it takes time to make movies, it takes time to do these things. And you have to understand that as an actor, you have to be able to kind of contain those emotions. And once you get to set, then let it loose. And so it was, I feel like there was times where I was like, man, why are we even here? Like, why'd they even bring us? And then it would, that part would kind of creep out, and it was like, why'd they bring us so early? And they're like, yo, they just, this is part of the job, but you need to enjoy every moment of it, because in that time frame, it was like, what are you doing in that downtime? You know what I mean? What are you doing to capitalize on all this time that you have here, all these moments, they come with being that comes with doing this job. What are you doing to capitalize on it? So it was to, number one was to enjoy all of it. And it was, read a book, read a book, get off Instagram, get off Twitter, get off Facebook, read a book, or, reread the sides for today, think about making some different choices. You know what I mean? It was just kind of just enjoy the moment, enjoy every moment.
Is your plan to go see it again on Friday when it comes out? What are you gonna, with like friends or something? Or?
There's I definitely want to, I would love to, I'm proud of this, I'm very proud of this. This is, obviously such a huge movie, and it's I can't wait for everybody to see it, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it. I can't get enough of it.
That's awesome.
I've seen it probably. I saw it again, and we had another screening, and I watched it again, and I was just like, from the beginning to the end, I'm focused. I'm in it, and I love it. And I'll probably see it again once or twice.
Yeah. So at the screening a couple of days ago in the premiere, like after it ended, what was the reaction from everybody?
From like the cast perspective.
Or even the people that haven't seen it yet, like the press that went in there and saw it.
Everyone loved it. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things where if you're a Soprano fan, you'll love it. You'll love seeing us. Paulie, Silvio, Uncle June, just seeing Michael, seeing Alessandro play a different, somebody who we don't really know too much about. Soprano fans are going to love it. And then also from, there were people there who had not seen the show, and they still were like, that was great. I obviously didn't get some of the moments that you guys did, but I still loved it. I still thought it was amazing. It stands alone. And then adding this whole dynamic with Leslie it makes it a whole kind of great gangster film,
What's next for you? Like any other projects that you're about to start working on that you can
there's
tell
a
us?
few things. There's a few things. Not too much I can talk about at the moment, but we have some things down the pipeline. Great agents, great manager. So we're just kind of making it happen. And then, obviously with, being in this industry, you kind of have so many friends who are doing so many other things, such as, writing and producing and directing, things like that. So, that's probably been one of the dopest parts about getting thrown into this thing so early, was to make, relationships with those guys and girls.
Awesome. Lastly, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
Social media, it's a long last name, but it's at Samson Moeakiola. You can read it in the description below. Just Samson Moeakiola. I am Polynesian. I'm half Polynesian, but I'm also half Italian. So for those of you who are, wondering, if there's a famous line in the show where it's like, imagine being passed over by a Samoan. It's when Big Puss is talking to the FBI agent. Yeah. So, but that last name is Polynesian, and it carries a lot of weight for our people. It's definitely a big thing for us. So I kept that one. Moeakiola, that's what I represent. It's T gang. But my mother is Sicilian. She's a DeMarco. And so I'm very honored to be in this, because it kind of made me look into, my Italian heritage, and that's been dope as well. But Samson Moeakiola, find me on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, Samson, this was great, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
No, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.